was real scared, you know, because I have 4 kids. I have a life of my own. I'm a nurse, but being a nurse is not my life. My first COVID resident on my own and stuff, and the first COVID resident at all, not just on my own, just at all. Yeah, they didn't come help me. The doctor ended up being there, coming, and it was late too. I was doing the 3 to 11. The doctor ended up coming in because they had a long ongoing relationship, that resident and that doctor. And she had COVID, and she was, you know, coming back into the facility from the hospital. So he, you know, he was there. He came shortly after she got there, which was great. He came shortly after she got there, which was great because I was doing her assessment and everything. And it was like when I was checking her breathing, her respiration was, I remember they were in the 30s, the high 30s. And I didn't know what to do, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Like, because it's just the you know, at that moment and stuff, and it's somebody you already know something's wrong with them, something's going on with them. So she was on oxygen and everything on the stretcher when they brought her in, but it's like when they brought her to the room and they were like moving stuff around and hooking stuff up, because they made her room like a negative air pressure or what room kind of thing, like how they do like if you have TB or a TB patient or something. So they were doing that, but I'm looking at her on the stretcher and everything. And she had aphasia. Am I saying the right one? She had aphasia. So she couldn't really get her words out, and it took her some time and everything. But she can understand full well, you know, and everything. So I knew this lady from before when I was working at an eye doctor or whatever. I had known her for about a year when I was working at the eye doctor. So I kind of got to know her and got used to communicating with her and how to communicate with her. And she always used to love my nails because I always pick like bright colors or like something like that. And she always would just, you know, rub my nails. So now she's on the stretcher and everything, and she's on the oxygen, and they're moving her, getting her room ready and going to transfer her to the bed. So I put the pulse ox on her finger because she was just like, but she had the oxygen on, but she's still, her eyes, everything about her was like just laid there. The respiration rate was high, but her eyes looked kind of anxious, like fearful, like they were kind of bit like that's how she was. Let me put my rich bitch t-shirts back on. So she was like that. So I put the pulse ox on her finger, you know, check her respirations and everything, and it was like in the 30s, because I have the pulse ox that counts the respirations also. So, you know, looking at the heart rate and the respirations and everything. So I'm like, something is really, you know, I don't know. So I manually started counting them. Like, I put the blood pressure cuff on her and everything for her vitals. I manually counted. So I got the same number. We transfer her to the bed. Like, I check her skin, I check her back, her, like, you know, do her whole skin check, see if, you know, she has any new things going on. Didn't see anything there, but it was just the respirations was like so off. And she has I don't know what that was that popped up. She has had like COPD and stuff like that or whatever too. So she gets like inhalers and stuff like that. So I'm getting an inhaler and a spacer. Send me a message. I don't know what he told me. So I get like that stuff and her PRN, breathing treatment, whatever. Like the doctor is there. So I went, he's in the office and he's like, you know, signing papers in her chart and, you know, taking care of all of that stuff, like signing off on her orders, which was great because he was there. I didn't have to like call and, oh, I want to, you know, check the orders or do any of that kind of stuff. So I went in and I got him, and he's like, you know, he went in, he checked her out and did everything. It was just like, you know, everything just how it is fine. Like her orders are good, you know, that she had from the hospital. We just want to go ahead with that. And her respirations was high, y'all, but he was saying like, you know, she's fine for now. And like he really checked her out thoroughly and stuff, which was good. And then a supervisor came down while he was in there, and so I just mentioned it to her too, because hey, 3 sets of eyes checking on a person, especially I'm new, 3 sets of eyes checking on a person and saying like, okay, she's fine, would make me feel a lot better than it's just like, oh, okay, well, I looked, I wasn't sure, and then the doctor said she was fine, so I just left it at that. No, when the supervisor came down, I was like, hey, you know, told her what was going on. It was like, can you go check her, because her respirations is like super high and stuff like that, and I'm not sure what to do or whatever. So so she did that and everything. Her and the doctor talked, and they both agreed, you know, she's fine, we'll give her a breathing treatment. So basically what they did was like, okay, give her a PRN breathing treatment for now, and then just kind of like left me like, there you go. So I had to suit up in the white hazmat suit. I had to put on full PPE. So I had the hazmat suit, the gown, goggles, I had the N95 mask, the surgical mask, I don't know what else. And I had the shoe covers, the hair cover and cap. So I had to put all that stuff on to go in there, and it was like, it was really difficult because you have all this stuff on, you know, you're trying to check the person out. And the thing about it is like, when I first went in there, you know, I had on my full stuff, but they brought her, the way they brought her through, I had to go and open the door for them. So I went, but they didn't say like they were coming up yet. Like they were saying they would be there or whatever, but they never said like, hey, we're coming in or we're at the door or anything. And you know, the person has COVID. So they brought her up like to the door or something. They brought her up to the door, and the way that it is like, I can't, they're going to my back door on the unit I was on is not going to open the door for them because they were coming from the parking lot. So I had to take the elevator up a floor because I was in the basement. So I had to take an elevator up a floor. So they're just at the door, and you know, and I'm just like, they're like, hey, you know, it's a delivery at the back door. And I'm thinking like pharmacy or one of the other nurses would come to the elevator, like hand me down my medications, or I would like go to the elevator, hand her up hers. So I'm thinking of something like that. So I go and they're there just already at the door and stuff. Of course, I already have a mask on. So I'm like, shit, like I don't have none of this stuff, and they can't just bring her through here like this, you know, all the other residents that haven't been exposed and stuff like that. So that's what ended up happening. She saw my nails and she liked my nails and all that kind of stuff, but I like let them in and put them to the elevator, and like I told them like I would come behind them because I don't know, it just wasn't a good idea. And then the people transporting her, I couldn't understand why they didn't have on more than what they had on. They just had on like regular mask, like a cloth mask. I couldn't understand any of that. But that was my experience dealing with my first COVID patient. It was just so odd though, guys, because like I said, she had COVID. The other residents hadn't been exposed, at least not on my floor that I was working on and stuff. So it was just, I don't know, gowning up, going in there, doing everything for her, and then having to ungown, go scrub, wash my hands, change my shoe covers and all that stuff, just to turn around and like put on a different kind of gown, like put on PPE to go in other rooms and give their medications and, you know, do their creams or wound changes and stuff like that, dressing changes, because I haven't done a lot of wound, like real wound changes. Y'all, them wounds get real. I'm starting to see them wounds get real. So yeah, but that was, yeah, and I was real scared, you know, because I have 4 kids. I have a life of my own. I'm a nurse, but being a nurse is not my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not willing. A lot of situations you put yourself at risk, and we know that we're at risk. But for me personally, we put ourselves at risk, but I don't want to. I mean, it's not my choice to put myself at risk in every situation. It's not my choice to be at risk every single day when I go to work. You know what I mean? But that is just the fact of it. But certain things like that, like no one wanted to work. They gave me a bonus, what they call a bonus, for me to work that for those 2 days because no one wanted to do it. No one wanted to work with a COVID patient, and especially a lot of them had, like, you know, kids and stuff too. Like one of the girls, she had like a little young baby and everything. And she's like, like when I came in, she was like, you know, to give me a report and everything. And she was just like, I got a baby and stuff. I got to get out of here, you know, before she gets here, which is understandable. And that's the whole thing too. It's like, me being a nurse has no effect on, like, should have no effect health-wise on my kids or on my family's life, you know, just because, I'm a nurse and I know I'm at risk for things, and I put my life on the line and anything can happen, so it is what it is. That's not the case, because you get something, you get COVID, you get sick or something like that, you could pass that on to your kids, your family. They might not do so well with it or recover. You might not do so well and recover, but then they do. And it's like, so now that was the cost of it. Or, you know, or having, what's it called? Long hauler syndrome. After you recover from COVID, but it's like you still test positive, or like you still have symptoms, or you stop testing positive, but you still have the symptoms. And like, I don't know, y'all. It's just, I was just scared, because I'm not trying to like literally like put my life on the line every single time, every day. So since then, yes, I have dealt with other COVID patients. I haven't felt any less nervous or scared about it. I still feel nervous and scared about it every time, because it's something that you can get, and it's something that you can, pass on to someone else. Or even, I was thinking taking care of that one COVID resident, and then going to take care of the other residents that aren't positive. It's like, I could leave out of this COVID room, do all the best that I can, wash up, do this, change my shoes, everything, wash up again, and try to go to the next person that doesn't have COVID and everything, give them their medications, and feel like, okay, I did the best I could. I tried to not contaminate, and then in the end, that person gets COVID or something like that, and then they would fall on you regardless of what you did. And it's just, I don't know, y'all. It's just not a good idea for a nurse to take care of somebody that has COVID at the same time and taking care of residents that don't have COVID. So, but honestly, that's how it's been every time. Every time I've taken care of a COVID resident, I am taking care of other residents that don't have COVID. That aren't on isolation, no suspected COVID, nothing. Like, they were clear test wise and everything else. Like, they don't have it, but I'm taking care of a full-blown positive COVID case that's like literally having breathing issues and stuff, and finishing with them going to the next room and take care of somebody that doesn't have COVID. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool. And that's not cool. That's just not cool. But y'all, so that was my experience dealing with, taking care of COVID patients. So if you guys have any questions about, taking care of COVID patients, if you've taken care of COVID patients, what advice do you have? How was your experience? Were you nervous or what? And what else? And just any questions or comments you guys have, just leave your comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.